Hey guys, welcome back to the Insider Provider channel. In this video, I'm going through how Chelsea is in such a strong financial position. Just a reminder, if you enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Of course, the owner, Abramovich, has the funds to keep the club afloat during the economic crash of COVID-19, but so do many clubs around the Premier League and Europe. But they aren't in the same powerful position as Chelsea. Chelsea's current financial success is down to a few things, but it's mainly riding on luck, timing, and previous investment. The football transfer market skyrocketed the day Neymar was bought from Barcelona for $220 million to PSG, and ever since it only kept inflating, with 10 players being bought for over €100 million ever since. Included in that list is ex-Chelsea superstar Eden Hazard, who was sold to Real Madrid for $100 million, with only 1 year left in his contract. Chelsea sold another player to a Madrid side last transfer window in Alvaro Morata, who sold for €65 million, recouping what they spent on him. Amongst these two players, Chelsea gathered £150 million, which they couldn't spend due to a transfer ban for buying too many underage players, which was a blessing in disguise. This meant Chelsea unintentionally sold when the market was at an all-time high, and now with that money can buy players when the market is at an all-time low. Over the past year, Chelsea were forced to play with what they currently had at the club, and had an Eden Hazard-shaped hole that they were unable to replace through the means of the transfer market. This idea was very troubling to most football experts, saying Chelsea would struggle to even make the Europa League, as Hazard carried Chelsea through the entirety of last season, contributing to 31 goals, over half of Chelsea's output in the Premier League, and was the main reason why Chelsea qualified for the Champions League the following season. Not only was Chelsea's key player pried away from them, they also couldn't replace Morata, their first-choice striker. To add to Chelsea's worries, their manager Maurizio Sarri left to join Juventus and left Chelsea twiddling their thumbs, looking for managers to undergo their potential car crash of a season. No manager would accept such a risky job, as their good name would be on the line, as no one expected this season to go well. The only man with enough courage to accept the job was none other than Chelsea's all-time top goalscorer, Frank Lampard. Lampard at the time only had 1 year of managerial experience at Championship side Derby. While at Derby, he had the honour of having two Chelsea Academy players in Mount and Tomori. Mount was a key player in Lampard's team and contributed to 13 goals in 35 games, and Tomori performed so well, he was Derby's player of the season. Lampard failed to gain promotion to the Premier League with Derby after a defeat to Aston Villa in the Championship playoff final, down to a goal from another Chelsea Youth Academy player on loan in Tammy Abraham. Looking back on it now, it's now obvious that this was a sign of good things to come at Chelsea. Add this to other Youth Academy graduates at Chelsea like Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Billy Gilmore and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and Chelsea effectively made many new transfers. Throughout the past season, we've seen Lampard utilise these academy graduates to the fullest, with Mount only missing out on one game and Tammy Abraham being the club's top goalscorer. As we speak, Chelsea currently sit in 4th place, in a Champions League spot, and are still in the FA Cup, a task deemed almost unthinkable a year ago. Lampard's use of Chelsea's youth academy has been revolutionary, as in the past Chelsea Academy graduates never got a look into the first team and were often sent out on loan until the inevitable transfer away. One aspect of Lampard's managerial system that's never brought to the forefront is that Lampard is still playing Sarri ball. Week after week we still see Jorginho sit deepest in the midfield three, of Kante playing as a pressing box-to-box midfielder, and a creative attacking left centre mid, whether that be Mount or Kovacic. We also still see dominantly the left side of the team focused on attacks, with either Emerson or Alonso pushing up much further than the right back, and we also see Willian or Pulisic taking up Hazard's left wing creative inside forward role. So yes, effectively Lampard is still playing Sarri ball with a few minor adaptations, but to greater effect than Sarri himself, which is incredible to think of, that a manager in his first year of top flight management is playing a world-renowned tactician's system better than him. Either way, this is a great sign of things to come from Chelsea in the future. This then leads us on to current day, where Chelsea are more than likely qualifying for the Champions League after the success of Lampard's use of youth, and have $160 million in the bank strictly for transfers, alongside other players to sell with the likes of Bakayoko, Batshuayi, Barkley, Alonso, Emerson and apparently Jorginho, which in total I think will sell for another $160 million. But of course some of those players might not be sold, or the club will use that in other departments around the club. We've already seen Lampard use some of this money very well after the signing of Ziyech in January, joining next season for only £27 million, and more recently in the signing of Timo Werner for an insanely cut price of £47 million due to a release clause in his contract. Werner is only 24 but has played in the Bundesliga over 250 times, scoring 107 and assisting 51, featuring in striker and in left wing. Following this transfer, we see that Lampard has a transfer and squad trend, looking for young prospects that have as much experience as possible. Chelsea are now linked with the likes of Kai Havertz, who only just turned 21, but has already played over 100 times in the Bundesliga, and they're also in the race for the terribly overpriced Ben Chilwell of Leicester, who's only 23 and has also made over 100 appearances in the Premier League. From what I can see, Lampard is looking to build a squad with a lot of depth that can push for titles, push for domestic cups, and even the Champions League, as he's going for youth that can only improve and will be around for a long time. Now that we've covered the recent past and the present, let's go on to what we can expect from Chelsea next season. Lampard loves versatility from his players, so then he can be unpredictable in his lineups, as players can fill many different roles and the opposition doesn't know what to expect, whether it be from players in different positions or a completely different formation altogether. Many think that Werner will replace Tammy Abraham, as Chelsea typically only play one striker at a time, but Timo can play on the wing almost as a wide striker or as a second striker alongside Tammy. Even Ziyech can feature as a right winger, attacking midfielder or central midfielder. Many players at the club can also fill many different positions, with the likes of Hudson-Odoi able to line up in left wing, attacking midfielder and right wing. Azpilicueta is also able to play anywhere across the back line, and many midfielders are able to play in many different midfielder roles. This suits Lampard down to the ground, as he can change formations and players with ease, having the opposition manager scratching their head in the run-up to games. With these players coming in next season, the players currently at the club have a place to play for, so expect Chelsea players to play like they never played before, as they're fighting for Lampard's approval for next season and for a Champions League spot, so watch this space. I'm now going to go through possible lineups we could see Chelsea play next season, and you may be surprised by a few. Starting with the usual 4-3-3, we could see Tammy leading the line up front, Werner playing off the left and Ziyech playing off the right, with the usual faces playing in behind them, with a big question mark over the left back spot, as it's obvious Chelsea are in the market to replace Emerson and Alonso. This wouldn't be anything groundbreaking, as Werner often appeared on the left for Leipzig, with a target man in Poulsen playing up front, so this would be a fluid adjustment for Werner. And Ziyech has the capability to pick a pass under any circumstance, as he's used to breaking down sides off the right wing. Notice how this is still very much Sarri ball, as Jorginho is the deepest in a midfield three, and the left hand side is heavily in attack, with an inside forward cutting in off the left. Next season we can expect Lampard to use the three at the back formation he often used this season. In this formation you can expect to see pretty much the same players, except taking out a midfielder for an extra defender, which would probably be Azpilicueta playing as a ball-playing centre-back as he did under Antonio Conte, with the very attacking-minded wing-back Alonso in the same side if he is still there next season. Chelsea only used this formation 6 times last season, but surprisingly it was their most successful, winning 4, drawing 1 and losing 1. Next up we would see a very attacking-minded 4-2-3-1 that would be used against side where they would have to break down. Many players could fill the attacking midfielder role, but in this scenario I'm using Ziyech and then Hudson-Odoi off the right, as they can break down sides with a great pass or cross into Tammy or Werner. The defence would have to play at 110%, as none of the front four will make any significant defensive contribution, but that's not what they're there for. A fully fit Kante can cover for their lack of defending, and with Kovacic beside them they can both retrieve the ball and supply the forward line. In this formation we would also see the fullbacks push up to provide attacking support with crosses, so Reece James and maybe Chilwell would suit this role perfectly. Lastly, I think a 4-4-2 would bring out the best of a lot of players at Chelsea, and I hope to see this in use next season. Up front would be of course Tammy and Timo, where they could perfectly play off each other, with Timo having previous experience of playing in a 2 alongside a very tall target man in Poulsen at Leipzig. I think Pulisic should play in left mid, as he can progress the ball along the left flank with great success, and for sure I think Hudson-Odoi would thrive in right mid, where he can swing crosses into great effect. Last season the 18-year-old at the time got a goal and 4 assists playing off the right in the very few minutes he got. The two centre mids need to be strong physical players that can do it all, and I think this suits Kante and Loftus-Cheek perfectly. If you think back through the years of successful sides that used 4-4-2, there was always a huge midfield presence like Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane, and I think Loftus-Cheek ticks all the boxes to play in this role. In a back four there's a lot asked of fullbacks, as they must find the perfect balance between attack and defence, so I think Azpilicueta would be more suited to this role over James, as he has a lot more experience, but I think Emerson will be more suited to the left back role over Alonso, as Alonso isn't as capable in defence. There's even more asked from the centre backs in a 4-4-2, as they can be left exposed as there's no holding midfielder in front of them. As well as that, they face a lot more crosses, so they must be very physical and strong in the air. So I've chosen Zuma and Rudiger to best fit this formation. Having versatility can bring out the best in your players and bring out the worst in the opposition side, and Frank Lampard is very aware of this, so expect Chelsea to almost never play the same side week after week. That's it for today. If you enjoyed and would like to see more of this type of content, please smash that like and subscribe button. If you have any thoughts on the topic, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.